All right, we're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everyone to the May 22nd business meeting of the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have the entire board present tonight. Let's see, we did conclude a study session on emergency planning and some of the latest updates with the bridge and the Detroit Steel McLeod site over in Trenton. Let's see, at this time I'll entertain additions or deletions to tonight's agenda. Okay, with none offered, those in favor of approving the agenda as published, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. That agenda stands as published. With that, I'm going to move the presentation up. We have Ms. Francine Sanek and Donna Jensen to advise us or give us the latest on the Trenton Memorial Community Library.
For having us here tonight.
We can put our thing on there. Sorry.
That's okay. The main reason we're here tonight is to invite... Okay, I will. There it is. Thank you. The main reason we're here tonight is just to remind everyone on Grosse Ile that your library is in Trenton and that we are going to be having a wonderful summer reading program. And the summer reading program is for all ages of independent readers from kindergarten all the way through adults. And this is some of the programming that we're going to be having is right here. Every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, there's going to be a special performer, and the kids can come in to participate with that. And they can also come in at any time to pick up books, and they get prizes and raffle tickets. And the teens have their own special programs. And the adults are also going to be able to join in on raffles for gift certificates from local businesses. Some other events we have going on in the summer, Francine's going to tell us about the Museum Adventure Pass, or the Michigan Adventure Pass.
Actually, the Adventure Pass goes to a lot more than museums, although they have tons of museums. There's 435 venues on this that you can get with your library card. So you can do it from home and print it off if you'd like. They have all kinds of things. They have railroad museums, historical museums. They've got I don't know, just about a museum for everything, including Pewabic pottery, you name it. If you're not the museum type and you're a more adventuresome person, they have state park passes, campground passes. You can go skydiving with a discount. You can go alpines. They have this thing that if you've always watched the luge like my mother did and thought it would be wonderful to try it, you can try it. There's a place up near Traverse City that has the track. It's this big long alpine slide that you ride on a roller thing, like a roller coaster going through it. And looks like fun, but I won't be trying it this summer. Anyhow, so there's all kinds of things from, very adventurous to, pretty sedate.
As you can see, there's a lot of things going on at the library, and we wanted to point out that with your library card, all the residents of Grosse Ile have access to the library 24 hours, 7 days a week. We have downloadable books that are available online. We have downloadable audiobooks, as well as magazines now that you can get for free with your library card. You don't have to pay for those Kindle books anymore. And we also have a lot of databases that are accessible, and that's not just for college students. We have things like the Chilton database, where if you wanted to work on your car, you can just print out the page that you need to work on, and you don't have to check out a book from the library, and this is all available online to you. We are connected with over 70 different libraries that are in Wayne County as well as outside of Wayne County.
5 counties.
5 counties, yeah. So that's a lot of things that you can get access to.
Well, on those databases as well, There's also legal, medical, different, the informational kind of things. But there's also, there was a database I was just thinking of when you were mentioning that, and I forgot what it is now. Yeah, business plans. If you're starting a business or you're a small business owner, there's several databases. There's one on demographics where you can plug in and you can find out within a so many mile radius of here, like what other businesses there are of that type and what the population's like and what the income levels are for, like as many of the counties as you want all over Michigan. And it'll pull it together for you so you have all that information. There's also one where you can do a business plan, figure that out online. It gives you a template for that kind of thing. So for a lot of small business owners and things like that, a lot of these things would be very valuable. And there's no cost to it.
We also have a lot of other things going on at the library other than just books. We're trying to be a community center, and what that means is that we're going to have a lot of programming for children, of course, but also adults. We have display cases where local groups can display their different information about themselves. We have quilter group that displays there. We have veterans that display there. We also have children's art from local schools. We have a monthly book club for adults. We have a monthly Lego Builders Club for our kids, and this is also all going to be going on during the summer. We have a family-friendly movie every month. We have tutors. We have forms and publications. We have places where you can come and learn about genealogy, and people will help you with that. We have a historical collection there. There's just, I can't even tell you how many things that we have available to everyone in Grosse Ile to just come down to the library and get your library card, and you have access to all these wonderful things. We also wanted to mention that we're going to be at Island Fest. We're so excited to be coming back again for Island Fest June 2nd through 4th. And we'll be at the Trenton Summer Festival also. We'll be selling used books and having little treats for the kids so that to remind everyone to sign up for that summer reading that's going to be starting June 5th for registration for that. And let's see, what else? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
We also have a group called the Friends of the Library, so if anybody's interested in that, the Friends are the ones who run the used book sales a couple times a year for us, and they also do other kinds of activities, and they've provided a lot of different things for the library. So they're a nonprofit organization, and they recently refurbished or redid the children's picture book area and all the furniture. We had furnishings that were like for somebody my size to sit down, but they didn't have little tot stuff. So now they've got all these things for the little ones too. That was one of their projects this year. Mm-hmm. We also have a visual thing, magnifying video thing. Mm-hmm. I can't think what you call the thing. Magic Link, I guess it is. And if you wanted to look at things that are really fine print, you can blow it up to like 10 times the size or whatever and see it. So sometimes people bring in like photos of their grandkids, and you can blow it up so you can see the kid's face pretty well, that type of thing. So, or read the expiration dates on your coupons. But anyhow, all those things are new too.
So we're really trying to be accessible for everybody, for people who are sight impaired, for people who are young, old, everybody. So everyone on Grosse Ile should come on down and get a library card so they can participate in all this with us.
Will we be able to get library cards at your booth at Island Fest, or do we need to come?
Not yet, because
Okay.
we have some format that has to be filled out and things like that. So.
All right, we'll send them. We'll
It's a
send
good
them over to the
question,
library. It's
though.
not like
Great
you're
question.
far away.
Someday maybe we'll have it where we can just do it on a little iPad or something. Yeah.
Of the 4 communities that we serve, Grosse Ile has the most number of readers per population of the group.
Yep.
So,
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thanks. Are there any questions or anything?
Do we have any? The one I just.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thanks for making the library so successful. Okay, with that, I will offer public comment on tonight's agenda items. Okay, with none offered, we'll move along to the consent agenda. Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Consent agenda 17-009, which consists of the minutes of the May 8th, 2017 regular meeting and approval of the check register dated through May 19th, 2017.
Support.
Okay, moved by the treasurer to approve the consent agenda, seconded by trustee Budney. Any questions, comments from the board on tonight's consent agenda? None offered. Those in favor of approving the consent agenda as published, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. Thank you. The consent agenda stands approved. We'll move to action items, and I'll go first. Okay, the request is propose the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees approve the 33rd District Court financial report for the fiscal year ending 31 December 2016.
Support.
Okay, moved by Supervisor, seconded by Treasurer Van Oss. The background is the audit of the 33rd District Court financial report was recently completed by Plant Moran, resulting in an unmodified audit. And unmodified is the new word for unqualified. It means there were no problems with the audit. When accepted by the DCUs, i.e. this municipality, the excess funds are returned to the municipalities within the district. We stand to have $9,078 returned to us. Our fines and costs, whatever, the money the court generates versus our portion of the court budget. So with that, questions from the board on the 33rd District Court audit? Not exciting stuff. That's why we have auditors do it.
Will this document be available to the public? Does the court have a website, or do we put it on ours? Or if they want to see a copy of this, can they go to the court?
I'm sure they can go to the court, or if you want to see a copy, this is what it looks like. It is on the court's website, so it's there. Or if you want to come by my office, I'll be glad to lend it to you. Other questions, comments? If none offered, those in favor of approving the 33rd District Court financial report for the fiscal year ending December 31st, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered. That passes. Thank you. And, okay, that'll be the resolution. The next is the topic of everything I've been spending my time on. Move that the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees approves the 2017 Support Emergency Operations Plan for Grosse Ile Township. Okay, moved by the supervisor, seconded by Treasurer Van Oss. And the background is the Support Emergency Operations Plan is an all-hazards plan supporting the Wayne County Emergency Operations Plan. This plan will be used in the event of disaster or severe emergency of natural, human, wartime, technological, or terrorism organization, should the effects of such disaster or emergency exceed the responsibilities of Grosse Ile Township. These plans are renewed with a change of supervisor or significant revision to the planning criteria, in this case, an election with a new board of trustees. So we're revising a plan that was last approved in 2012. The planning, the background document changed. It's a Michigan State Police. I don't even remember their nomenclature. Michigan State Police Office of Emergency Management changed the planning criteria. I've been working with the chiefs on this, with the Board of Trustees, and we've got a good plan to send up to Wayne County, and should it be approved, I will be up there with the Wayne County Emergency Management Coordinator to put some final touches on it and have a plan to handle disasters. That was got the final inputs from the board at our study session, and I've got some good advice. I think the plan is ready to go. The board thinks it's ready to go, so I'm going to ask the board to approve it, and then we'll get it fine-tuned, and then take a look at our closer hold plans. But this township is really ready and equipped and able to take care of itself, and I'm real proud to be a part of that planning program and to work with our public safety people. So questions, comments from the board on the emergency operations plan? Mrs. O'Connor.
I guess I just want to say to the residents that basically what this does, it outlines which departments, department heads, staff people, volunteers will take on which roles in a disaster that might impact the township of Grosse Ile. And so that we have something in addition to our existing emergency response plan in place, but something that's has a quick oversight, like the supervisor said. So I think you've done a really good job with this, and it makes it very easy for us all to see to which roles were going to be assigned in such a situation. There won't be any cloud of doubt.
At least it'll start out that way, but it will. And the plan is where we start. Nothing ever goes according to plan, but we have a start point, and we have some roles and responsibilities, and those named in it know they have an area of expertise that they're expected to be able to perform. And again, I've got to thank the board and our chiefs for all the help I've gotten on this. I'm ready to publish the best plan that Wayne County's seen. So with that, any other questions, comments on the plan that we reviewed this evening? Okay, with that, those in favor of approving the 2017 support emergency operations plan for Grosse Ile Township, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? None offered. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Budney.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to have a motion based on the recommendation of the DPS Chair, Mr. William Kostick, and Township Board Liaison, myself, to appoint Brenda Cloutier to the Public Service Commission for the following term of May 22nd, 2017 through March 31st, 2020.
Okay, moved by Trustee Budney, seconded by Treasurer Van Oss.
We had, unfortunately, we had an opening due to the death of one of our commissioners, and we had actually had 4 people put in for it. One of them ended up pulling his application out. And of the 3 left, we thought Mrs. Cloutier would give us would be the best of the 3 that were left in. And she has an engineering background. She's lived on the island for a number of years, and we'd like to welcome her aboard.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment. I'm pretty excited about this. I sat on the DPS commission for about 23 years now. In some form or another, and this is the first woman that we've had on this commission, and we're really looking forward to her input. Times are changing, guys.
That was going to be my question. We seem to have a shortage throughout our commissions.
Yeah.
It just broadens the expertise and the perspective. I think we'll be better for it. Other questions, comments on Mrs. Cloutier's appointment? Okay, with none offered, those in favor of following the recommendation of the DPS Chair and the Board Liaison to appoint Mrs. Brenda Cloutier to the Public Service Commission for the term of May 22nd, 2017 through March 31st, 2020, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? None offered. Mrs. Cloutier, welcome aboard. Okay, here's a fun one. Recommend the Grosse Ile Township Board of Trustees approve, or the Board of Trustees agree that there shall be levied on the taxable value of said township for the year 2017 for the tax billing period of summer of 2017 a tax of 4.50 mils on the taxable value thereof, said value being $589,196,415.
Support. Oh.
Okay, moved by the supervisor, seconded by the treasurer, so that they know who's the guilty parties. This is the sanitary sewer evaluation system, the big sewer project from 2002-04 time frame. The one that, anyway, that's what it costs to upgrade our sewer system. This millage goes on until 2021. Obviously, it was a very expensive project, but I guess we're a little bit ahead of some communities. Anyway, we got to pay the bills. Questions, comments among the board? Most of us have been following this for some time.
I just make a comment that when this project was started back in the early 2000s, it was put on a referendum to the ballot to the voters as to whether they wanted to pay for this project through a millage or pay for it on your service rates. The residents of the island wisely chose to put it on the millage because it's now deductible on their taxes. And our water rates, as they have continued to climb over the years, would have been astronomical at this point. And at least this has a termination point, at 2022. Much easier to cut this off than it would be at just water rate. So it's getting close. We're getting there.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Other questions, comments from the board? And the bills. Okay, with that, those in favor of approving the levy on the taxable value of the township for the year 2017, for the tax billing period of summer 2017, a tax of 4.500 mils on the taxable value thereof, that value being $589,196,415. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None offered? We shall so levy. That concludes tonight's action items. With that, move on to the clerk's report. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I really just have a small item here. It's not really related to the clerk's office in that sense, but as you know, Woody's in the back, we just had our dump the junk, find the treasure, and I was amazed at how much stuff accumulates there, and I'm hoping you'll make a report. But we talked about how electronics are not accepted at dump the junk, and the household hazardous waste collections through Wayne County are really only like once every 2 or 3 months. And I was just walking through the hallway, and Dale, I'm hoping you can help me. There's a flyer at the DPS, and it says Riverview Computer Collection Center, and they appear to be collecting computer components and other computer-related devices for recycling, and they're located at the Riverview landfill. Is that the flyer is dated 2014, or that this started 2014? Is this still a current thing that residents can go anytime to drop off electronics? Here's the flyer.
Yes, it is.
And it's still
valid.
ongoing,
So I think that's really exciting, because I've got another garage pile growing of this stuff, and they're collecting mice and keyboards, but only computer components that have not been disassembled. And they're located at 20863 Grange Road in Riverview, and they're Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you don't have to wait in line for an hour or two at the Wayne County location, and then they're also open on Saturdays. So I just want to let people know that this alternative exists.
They take TVs or?
Apparently just computer components and other computer-related devices for electronics recycling. Laptops, but not, it doesn't say anything about televisions. So, oh no, it says no televisions. Right there, no televisions. So anyway, and more information of this is available at the DPS. So just something, new to learn today. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's move on to Treasurer's report. Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. For the month of April, Grosse Ile had a total of $17,262,300 invested in various accounts, generating an average interest income of 0.56%. The current breakdown of all investments are on the Grosse Ile website and at my site. The Wayne County will soon be sending out letters to those property owners who failed to pay their 2016 property taxes. If you were sent a letter by Wayne County, please feel free to call the Grosse Ile Treasurer's office. If you have any questions, check with Annette. She'll walk you through the valley of death over there. The 2017 annual dog park passes are available to residents and non-residents. The annual membership fee is $10 for residents and $20 for non-residents. Application for Park Pass is available online at Township Hall. The Commerce Park meeting is scheduled for next month. We had to cancel a meeting. We didn't have any agenda items this month, so we'll be meeting on, when will we be meeting? Be the third Monday of next month. And Thursday is the honoring of the Rotary Citizen of the Year at the Yacht Club. If you care to attend, please contact the Yacht Club and make your reservations. That's an annual event by Rotary, and the Citizen of the Year will be the Grand Marshal at the Island Fest Parade. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Let's move on to trustee liaison reports. Mr. Malvesto.
Thank you. Chief, I think my numbers are close to date. Pardon? We have over 185 EMS calls and over 45 fire calls. That's to date. Very busy volunteer fire department. I thought it was around 185 on rescue and about 45 on fire. So a total of what? Close to 230 or 40 calls to date. Very busy. A very busy volunteer fire department. Thank you. Also, the dedication and the quality of our firefighters and members of the fire department. Fire Marshal Beaudry is going to be in a arson class for about a week up in Bay City. Very dedicated to his position, his job, and it just shows the high level of skill that our firefighters do have. As far as BPAC, we had a meeting this past. And by the way, the Fire Commission meetings are the second Thursday of the month. BPAC meets on the third Thursday of the month. We had one last week. Members of the commission, we rode from Church Road up to Voight, and then we rode back and just looking at the bike paths themselves, doing an analysis, see what kind of service are going to be required, will be required them in the coming year. They have a limited budget, and they have to put their money to work wisely. So we've been looking at these at bridges and paths as we go. Anybody's welcome to join in at our BPAC commission meetings. I say it's the third Thursday of the month. And that's it. Thank you.
Tom, one quick question, or Chief, actually, said 45 fire calls. What is there a common denominator? That's what are the sources of the fires? Is there something? Is there a trend? Is there something we should be more aware of, or? Yeah, I was just.
Yeah, well, people at home won't be able to hear what you're saying over there. So
a lot of times, electrical fires are a big part of it. Cigarette smoking is huge. Unattended candles. The rule on unattended candles: if you light it, you should put it out. Don't expect somebody else to put it out. That's pretty much the general fires that we do get. The other big thing is, believe it or not, smoke detectors are not working. A lot of houses don't have smoke detectors that work properly. They take the batteries out.
And you're willing to give them smoke detectors for free?
Yeah, whatever they'd like. So, absolutely. So,
obviously, very preventable. So, okay, you've been lectured. Check your smoke detectors, and if you don't have one, stop by the fire department. You'll have one. Okay, thank you, Mr. Malvesto. Mr. Budney.
Thank you, Brian. Our DPS commission meeting was the second Tuesday of the month, and as it is every month, and I would encourage people to come to it. We are beginning to talk about roads, and so we certainly would like to hear from the residents on it. We know we have to put something together in the near future, and certainly your input would be welcome. Tomorrow is a zoning board of appeals. I would encourage you to get there early. We only have one appeal, but you want the best seats, so come and see that. One last thing, I would like to make a comment, somewhat critical comment, regarding the Island Fest Commission meeting. First of all, the meeting itself, the video of it is terrible. The audio and video weren't syncing up, and it literally would give somebody a headache watching that. I would hope that we would monitor things like that a little more closely and take care of whatever the problem is. But my real comments are actually towards the chair of the commission and towards the board liaison, a couple of comments they made. I was disappointed to hear the liaison say that the budget meeting discussions were a gigantic waste of time. I don't think they are. I kind of took that as a slap in the face, and I think for every board member here who wants to do the best job possible, certainly one of the things we should be doing is discussing things. And I was just disappointed in that type of comment. And as far as a comment made by the chair, I wish you wouldn't. I'm not going to say what the comment was or anything. I'm just saying I've heard this before, and I just wish it would stop. That's all I have to say.
All right, this is something that should have been sorted out
again
before we go in front of the public, gentlemen.
Again,
this is out of order. This is
Brian. People have to be available. You can't do it by yourself. It was said on TV, and that's why I thought I should say something here. I'm sorry if I'm out of order.
I would prefer you sort that out with Mr. Nelson and let Mr. Nelson make the appropriate remediation, but this is not the way I like to see this handled. Well, other than that, anything else, Mr. Buddy?
That'd be it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bletcher.
On a happy note, the police department is pleased to report that Officer Brozick continues to recover from his on-duty motorcycle accident last year. Todd was able to come to our last commission meeting. Looks good, not 100% yet, still stiff and sore and going through some more therapy, but it was just good to see him back in the department and back in the public safety building in general. So we welcome him back, and I'm glad to have him making the progress. The second thing is we have Island Fest coming up. Chief Porcerelli has a full complement of men and women in uniform that are going to be there. It is hoped that everyone will have a wonderful time at Island Fest, but we're looking forward to having you have a good time responsibly. Please drink responsibly and recognize that there are a lot of people there off island that aren't familiar with our roads, aren't familiar with the streets here, and drive accordingly. Be careful, give them plenty of room. And finally, we do have positions open for the reserves. Feel free, if you are interested in reserves or learning more about the program, to call 676-7100, which is the general number for public safety. Again, 676-7100 if you have interest in reserves. Moving on to the open space greenways, we did have Dump the Junk this last weekend, 2 days. It is my understanding from Chairman Cliff St. Pierre that all the dumpsters were filled. There were many, many compliments and thanks for the opportunity to dump the junk. And this year they were looking, because it's a community-based program, looking for identification to show that, in fact, you were a resident of Grosse Ile. We have enough junk on the island where we don't need help from off-island communities to fill the dumpsters. And on that note, I would welcome Mr. Clark, if he's interested, in coming to the microphone and saying a few words about his program. Woody is in charge of it. He does a great job. And Woody was out there for 2 days filling the barrels, filling the bins, filling the dumpsters, and keeping everything under control. Woody, is there anything you want to say? Very good. We'll look forward to the public comment. That's it.
Mr. O'Connor.
Carl, quick question regarding the reserves. We have a lot of young people on the island. Is there an age limit for applying to the reserves?
I would let Chief Porcerelli come to the microphone and advise what the qualifications are. It goes beyond just age. You have to have a background check. And Chief, if you could address that for everyone, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, unfortunately, we're down a few members, and you have to be at the age of 21, obviously pass a background check. If you haven't been to an academy, for reserves only, we'll send you one. There's usually 2 days a week, but you do have to go. That has been a problem with some. It's about a 6-month-long course, but it's kind of a police academy for reserves. And that's basically all. You don't even have to be a township resident. We have a few live off, and they put all their hours in. So 21 years of age, and if you would like to apply, just stop in at the police department. We've actually even mailed a couple out that they've called, so we'll get it to you one way or the other. Just stop in. It's a separate application, separate than what the township normal application is, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bletcher. Mr. Nelson.
I just want to make one short statement about the Rec Commission. We have not had a director since Brandy left in November. I met with Ann Darznak about the budget. We talked about it, pretty much the same as was the year before. Was it done the proper way? I don't think so. It should come to the commission, and the commission should approve it, and we're in the process of changing that. We're going to have a new chair next month, and I don't think this will be a problem ever again. And I'm sorry that if I said the word joke on TV, it was my bad. I shouldn't have done that. But I will tell you that it hasn't been, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus here, but it hasn't really been up to speed in my opinion. So we have a new director on board, a new liaison, and we're going to have a new chair of the Rec Commission. And I look forward to working with well, I'll let Dale do Kim's introduction later. But so that's the report on the budget situation. Chad will be here momentarily to give you an update on the Festival Commission. There's not a lot new, except I guess that postcard went out in the mail or whatever it was. The next meeting of the Rec Commission is this Thursday at 7:30. At that point in time, we're going to choose a chair going forward. Chad Novak is going to chair the meeting this Thursday only. If he gets voted in to be the chair, then he will be the chair. So that's where that is. We are looking at the whole commission to see what we can do better. Bob, we can do better. So we are in the process of that. One other thing about your smoke alarms, they tell you to change them on the time changes. You're supposed to check your batteries.
Late.
Oops, put me up to that. So, Rec Commission wise, I'm going to save that for Dale when he gives his manager report, and he will introduce Kim. And Kim, I hate to do this to you, but can you say a few words after you be introduced to how the first 6 days has been? Off the top of your head?
I don't want her commenting on that.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. With that, I'll move things out of sequence just a little bit and invite the township manager to make his report while we're all kind of on this, or expecting him to follow that lead. Mr. Riem.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yes, my number one item that I was wanting to do under my report, I'm going to save to last so I can brief the community on a few items before I introduce our new recreation director. Monday, May 29th, township offices will be closed in observance of Memorial Day. Those that would wish to make payments, there's a drop box out front. That weekend, the VFW will be holding a memorial service on Sunday the 28th at 1 o'clock at the VFW Hall on Macomb Street. And then Island Fest, if you, I know said Mr. Novak is on his way, is 2nd through 4th. Information on islandfestgirlsdeal.com. So, and I'll turn that over to Chad in great detail after. But as everyone knows, we've gone through the search process for the recreation director. And we are very fortunate. I would like to introduce Kimberly O'Farrell, who has 20-plus years of recreation experience in the recreation field, and most of that in some management capacity. It's not often you find a candidate that has experience in the arenas that the township has. Pool, parks, golf course, okay? And we were fortunate enough to do just that, find that candidate. So Kim, if you'd like to come forward and just say a few words and introduce yourself, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Township Board, I want to thank you for hiring me for this position. I'm very excited. I've been working with Dale every day. Just my first week, Jim, you want to hear about the first week? Just learning about the community, what we have to offer to our residents. I can't fix everything in one day. I hope you don't expect me to fix it all in one day. As far as, I don't want to even say the word fix. As far as the evaluation, there's really good facilities here. My specialty is the golf course, the swimming pools, youth programming and adult programming. So, I do want to see a little bit more programming for our community, youth and adult, and just trying to do a little bit more preventative maintenance on our facilities. That's kind of the first things that I'm looking to do, in the next year. I see some of the, just repairing floors in the swimming pool, the MARSite issues. I have a strong background in facility operations as well, trying to put those plans together so we can last another 10 to 15 years with our buildings. Worked with Ann on the budget. We sat for a good 3 hours on that and going through that process. But I'm very thankful to be here. I'm close to my family in Canada now. My daughter's very excited to be a resident here as well, and I am a resident here as well. Just moved to the island, so 100% for me and to the community and to all of you. So I thank you all very much for having me. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome, Kim.
School district will have at least one new student this fall, too. Your daughter, correct? Good.
Thanks, Kim.
Dr. Novak, could you come to the mic, please, and give us your illustrious, well-thought-out written report?
Update for festival, as you all know, is a little over a week and a half away. Sponsorships, we're always still looking for sponsorships. We have 74 vendors and exhibitors signed up. It is a challenging time this year. I got my hand in everything from fireworks to carnivals to food vendors to Wi-Fi. Oh, I just want to give you props. So I don't mean to offend anybody, and sometimes it's better that we only have one televised meeting a year for festival because we are a creative group. And sometimes we have colorful language, and I would never want to offend anybody. That'd be my last thing I'm going to do. But that being said, we're going to be setting up next Tuesday, Wednesday, all through the week. Y'all know the drill. I guess we got extra people with Duncan and Joey, and so we're going to be good, right? That purple flyer that went out doesn't say festival or have festival logo on it anywhere, just saying, but it's going to be good. We're going to double what the fireworks we had last year. So, and Kim, I want to welcome you. I've got to be with you 3 days out of your 7 you've been here, whatever, and I look forward to doing a lot of positive, great things for the community. And if you sign up to be a volunteer, you can get a really nifty T-shirt. If you notice, the purple matches the color I got on. These are what and it took a little thinking, so we kind of splurged on the shirts. Not as much as last year, though, Kathy, so we're good. And
oh, nice. Nice.
Be an Island Fest ambassador, and please sign up at volunteer, answer your email in there twice, and we can get all the help we can get. So we will see you all next weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend. And once again, Island Fest 2017. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Novak.
Oh, that's the latest issue of D-Profile. They have like a 26-page of Grozy also.
Nice job, Chad.
Thanks, Chad. All right. I'll turn it to the next be our Township Attorney, Mr. Assorti.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and board members. I know that one of your agenda items tonight was a distribution from the 33rd District Court, and I just want to make sure there's no misconceptions or misunderstandings out there with the public. That's based on a budget amount that was actually a carryover from 2015. And so the revenues that are generated at that courthouse from fees and costs, obviously from tickets that are written and fines that are incurred in connection with the court system, those take care of a lot of things. The building itself, the judges' salaries, the staff salaries. Some of the things that it does not cover is our police department staff salaries, the cost of doing the prosecutions for the township. And so it's kind of, I just wanted to be clear that there's money coming back to the township, but we're still, obviously, there's still some money spent on behalf of the township to pursue those things and make sure that the proper things are being done from a prosecution and from a police enforcement perspective. That's all. Those fees and costs, if it ever comes up with anyone, those fees and costs that are there are established by the court. We are number 6 out of 7 communities from a usage perspective. So, to say it politely, we have similar and representative type of say as to what goes on in timing, those types of things. So I just didn't want there to be any misconception that I didn't want there to be any misconception that money coming back to the township some way, that we were generating fees or that we were collecting money by writing tickets.
It's not a source of revenue now.
Correct. We're a long way from that. So thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Assorti.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to add that in my experience, Mr. Assorti has done a fine job. The police department, the courts, and Mr. Assorti have worked together to schedule so that we have minimal officer time in the courts. They schedule it in an appropriate and as cost-effective manner as we can get. I think Tom and the police department are doing a great service to the community. The court is helping us keep our costs down. Otherwise, you would see a lot different figures here. And I just want to acknowledge Tom and Joe for the work that they've done and also being able to work with the court system. They really do a good job. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Carl. Did you? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Well, and you brought something up that I just want to echo. If I understood you correctly, I really like hearing, as we heard earlier today, that our community is at the top of the users of the library and that we are at the bottom of the users of the court system.
That's a good position to be on both ends. Thank you. Jim.
Good. That's a good thing.
I wasn't using my phone, I swear. How many more soccer teams do we have than last year? I want to talk about soccer and football for a minute.
You're going to yell at me for using my phone.
No. I don't have that authority.
That's later.
I believe it's like 132 or 136.
Oh,
there's an upwards of 6,000 people coming in for the tournament. And I know Angela's not here, but she's been working really hard on Macomb Street, and it's looking good down there. So we're going to sparkle and shine for that. Yeah, but there's a lot.
So we
6,000.
Yeah, additional people from Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, all over the place.
Yeah, they had 100 and some teams last year.
Right. I think one up
so
like
100. I mean, like 110 or something. So that's a good.
It's a lot.
It's a good increase.
$4,000 in porta potties.
Maybe it's a good thing that all the rowing families will be in Canada that weekend.
Uh-oh.
One thing about that, you may or may not know that, we have our rec softball fields over here, and we had a meeting with football and soccer, and we got them on the same page, and so football is going to let us share football field for soccer games during this tournament. It's wonderful that we were able to get from where we were to where we are without any bloodshed. I really thank Kevin Nassau and John, who's John, the football guy, for coming to the middle and making some tough decisions. And we're still going to have 2 games over at the middle school. We have that many teams. So we're ready to rock.
And those games run basically all day. From early morning to late at night
Friday, Saturday,
to get the tournament in. And they did Giza really did a nice job last year of the way they had it set up and the way they took care of everything.
Okay, this is going to be real dull then because I don't have anything exciting going on. I've decided to ratchet back what I'm covering most anything I say is already covered in either in channels or on our website. So I'm just going to cover the pop-up events that aren't being previously advertised, and just kind of a wrap-up of what's been going on. The first thing is, you may have noticed the Rio Road apartments are gone, leveled out. I didn't check into the pits to see how much of the debris is gone, but all it's gone. Those.
You want a quick update? I stopped there.
Yeah, well, you drive by it every day.
I like watching it. They have all the concrete out of the ground now. They have to wait for an inspection, and then they can come in and backfill, and it's done.
So those, again, as we've said, they were obviously they were just beautiful structures at one point. They were allowed to deteriorate till they were no longer economically viable. They were allowed to deteriorate further. They were an attractive nuisance. Our firefighters were scared to death of those things because they knew there was a response looming. They're gone other than some legal involvement by our attorney. They're gone at the expense of the owner, and that land is now open for better use. So, Mr. Sorty, thank you for making that happen at the least cost of the township, but they're gone. I'll cover the McLeod DSC site. That's, as you may have read, it went to tax foreclosure. There was an article in the Detroit News that said very little in a lot of text. It's unknown who will be taking over that site, but I've been talking with Mayor Stack and Jim Wagner over in Trenton. If Trenton does assume that plant, they're looking at light industrial. It's just not economically viable to get it remediated enough to where residential will be possible, at least with what we know now. But again, Jim Wagner is the city administrator for the city of Trenton. Kyle Stack is their mayor. They keep us in the loop all the time on the development. So even though it's not within our jurisdiction, they want to know our inputs. We're working together on this for a solution that's beneficial to both communities. Okay, the Wayne County Bridge. Don't ever say the free bridge in front of me. That's a very expensive bridge, and it's about to get more expensive. Some of you are aware that the weight limits on the bridge. Most of you probably don't, but many of you are aware that the weight limits have been reduced. The bridge was inspected. They found some structural failures in the concrete on 4 of the beams. The beams being the sections between the pylons. They had the standards that were reduced are national standards. The loading is based on what can be carried between the 2 pylons on that bridge. So axle loading is not really the player. It's just point source of weight. And then depending on the size of the truck is how big that point is. But, I have been advised by MDOT and Wayne County that what the situation is. And we'll be meeting soon with Wayne County to see what the remediation plan is. It's not going to be a quick fix. So those costs, the additional costs of running cement over, whatever has to come over on the heavy truck, those costs are going to go up because the loads are going to have to be reduced. Again, it's a Wayne County bridge. It's their bridge. They control it. We talk to them and we try to convince them to move things along more quickly, but it's days and dollars. And there's going to be a lot of days between now and when that bridge is up to its original standards. And that's the latest. There's nothing being concealed, at least on our end.
Mr. Supervisor, just to emphasize the obvious, as far as cars, it's completely safe. It's only the heavy trucks that are the worry.
Yeah, it will not affect automotive traffic. Like I said, it's unless you have a car that weighs over 26 tons, Anyway, that's the status of the bridge. So now you know pretty much everything I do. This is going to be a while before it's fixed. And International Wildlife Refuge Alliance dinner Saturday night. Again, this is when I get to corner Mayor Stack, Andy Linko, Jim Goris from Gibraltar. We get together and, okay, what's going on? And over refreshments and what's unofficial, what are discussing, and these topics have come up. The Refuge Alliance, the visitor center should be open this time next year. The next dinner will be there. A lot to offer, and I've got a standing invitation to give John Dingle a tour of at least our part of the refuge. He is in good spirits, and I will have to say his health isn't where he wants it to be at this point, but it's always good to see him. He's proud of that refuge. I think it's an asset our community will cherish for years to come. I can't wait till my grandson's big enough I can turn him loose there. So, and that's, unless you have questions for me, that's my update. There was only one meeting in June. It'll be on June 12th. So if you have things you want to get done before July 10th, that's going to be your chance to do it.
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make one thing clear to everyone here as well as those that are watching at home, and that is that you were not, and no one on this board, and I believe in the community, the government, was advised beforehand of the weight changes. This was something that, as I understand it, happened, and then we were not given any warning at all or any ability to even disseminate the information. I want to make that clear because I don't want there to be any issues about communication, that this was something that was thrown on you and thrown on this board.
I'm playing catch up, but that's what we know. But thank you, Carl. That's what we know as of now. And again, we'll be working to accelerate the repairs. And when we know something, we'll let you know just as soon as possible. But thanks, Carl. Okay, with that, open up to public comment. Mr. Clark, welcome back.
Woody Clark, Park Lane, speaker. Is? I can't hear it. I don't have to hear it. Okay, good. We can hear. That's good. Dump the junk went over well. It was. I'm glad we had John Com there all day Sunday and Saturday. Some part time, but Sunday he was there all day pounding that crap down. Never ending, just kept on going, and they kept bringing it in and bringing it in. I've never seen so much plank wood in my life. I guess they had a bad winter. I guess they said that they were eliminating decks. Okay, so these people are the people that helped us. Cliff St. Pierre, Pat Nelson, Daryl Polarzik, Jack Fucci, Joanne and Al Copeland, Tony Campo, Donna Deppa, John Kine, Lorinda Bellatrell, and Chuck Wallowich. Those people helped us. Even in the rain, we're standing there some days. I was in there Saturday. It started to rain. We went home. I went home. John called me. He says, "There's a line." I said, "Oh, shit." Okay. So I came back, and we went to 4 o'clock. And it was good. They were still coming. We had a few, we'll say, arguments, but that's all right. We tried to sell them straight and fast and get it over with. Also, I'm hearing that there was a vapor test 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Vapor test where?
Here.
I'm not aware of.
Okay, but it was here. In this buildings too.
No.
The other building? Okay. Is there results? Okay, so we'll find out what's there besides, because a lot of people are getting cancer down here on this island. And a lot of people on south of Grove are getting more than anybody else, I think. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Mrs. Walker.
Kathy Walker, Thorpe Court. Okay, guys, 1 week from tomorrow, it is time to launch your kayak. So everybody come on down. I know we'll be ready because Kim has promised me that, and I believe her. It's going to be done. If I have to move those masts myself, we'll do it. It'll get it done. So anyways, we have to move some masts. They're in the way. Hopefully next year that will not happen, the masts be put there. No. And we'll have our carpeting put away and everything. And Tom is on board doing everything is always helpful. And so next week, everybody who wants to come on down. If you don't want a kayak, wave at everybody as we're paddling off. It's going to be a great season. I just know it. And now I have some good, exciting news. After...
You had the right one.
Okay. We have entertainment for our second blessing of the fleet. We're having a bagpiper. Yeah, and I think it's going to be nice. Everybody smiles when I say bagpiper, and she is going to be in full regalia, and I'm really excited about her. She seems great, and she's been doing it for 30 years. And yes, Bob Zelasco, she will be playing Amazing Grace, and he was very interested in that. And I'll give you a couple more pictures of what she does. She has different outfits, but very nice gal. I have not met her, but we actually went to the same high school. Go figure. She does a lot of things, and we're very lucky because she was booked on weekends, but we've got her. And so, last but not least, and I'll be running around with flyers. We're going to have our second blessing of the fleet on June 20th. We're going to have chairs. We've already got the water. We've got the, everything's going to be very, very nice. We'll have it filmed. Ted will film it. Won't you, dear? And he will film it. And it's going to be a really nice event. I think we'll kick it up a notch or two from last year, and I thought last year was okay. And I expect everybody back to be launching boats for me. And yeah, good, yep, absolutely. We want everybody launching boats, and so it's going to be a nice thing. And if anybody has any suggestions, give me a call. But I look forward to this being a very nice event for the public. And again, it's free, and there will be seating because we have some elderly people, and so the seating will be generously donated by Grosse Hill Yacht Club. And so it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. But again, next Tuesday we start our kayaking. Everybody be there. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker.
Same thing as always. The people will be out on the water, and it starts because she's only paid for so long, so it's going to start on time.
Promptly.
By the way, there's no money coming out of the township. It's all coming out of my pocket, just so you know. All right.
I was just going to say that I'd like everybody to understand that Kathy covers this on her own, covers all these events on her own, and she puts a lot of time and a lot of work into it.
Her baby.
Meant to put a smiley face instead of a black eye.
Thank you. I have never seen a female piper before. This is new territory. But she's the only one. I guess we haven't crossed paths. It will be cool. Okay, any other comment from the public present? With none offered, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Buddy, seconded by Trustee Bletcher. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none offered. Call the meeting adjourned at, let's make it 8:40 or 8:51. Good night.